But Dr. Majeed, at this point in time, where we're looking at close to 2 years since that statement was made and that policy direction effected, wouldn't it be too long a call at this point in time, or would I say just flogging a dead horse to call for the reversal of it? Because on the part of the government, they're telling you that we're getting to see results. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnels. The price have started going down. We're seeing a bit more competitiveness, seeing that we have the private refinery, Warri refinery is up, Port Harcourt refinery is up, and you get to see them heads on trying to see how we can drive down the price. I remember when the media talk happened for Warri refinery, one of the things that was mentioned is the fact that we're looking at a future where we start to export and drive down the price of petrol per litre at the end of the day. So wouldn't one say it's best to just forge ahead and see where we go with this than to take that step back?
We are forging ahead to nowhere. Now, the slight reduction in price you see, or we start Dangote announced, according to Dangote himself, was because of government intervention in the pricing of crude oil that was sold to him, where Naira was accepted in place of dollar at a rate that was not disclosed. Meaning he didn't buy, the PI itself was boycotted in some sort of way to provide succor for him. Which means government intervention is necessary to bring it down below 1,000 Naira seen today. He said it was the crude for Naira sale implementation that resulted into that. Meaning there was an intervention from somewhere. We're saying we need more of that intervention. For instance, it is even better now to subsidize than before. You know why?
Why?
Now that you have refineries in Nigeria working, you have the Port Harcourt refinery producing, you have the Warri refinery also coming on stream now, and Dangote refinery is also functional, as well as other modular refineries. It is even better to now subsidize from the production side. I've always believed that as an oil-producing country, Nigerian refineries should not buy crude at the rate of international market prices for the purpose of local refining for local consumption. So I think the government should be able to sell crude to Nigerian refineries at a discounted rate for local consumption only, while you safeguard our borders against smuggling. It's your responsibility. So I believe that this is even the best time to even introduce subsidy. Look, I will never drop this topic of subsidy because you know why? It's not about Naira and Kobo, it's not about pounds, dollars, and Dutch marks. It's about energy security. There is no country, there's no economy that can produce without energy security. And what's energy security? In addition to affordability and accessibility, in addition to availability and accessibility, affordability is key. That affordability component means that you cannot allow market forces alone to dictate the prices. Government must come in. As we speak, the price of petrol in some parts of America has fallen below the price in Nigeria, as reported by Farouk Perogi, who lives in the US. He did the commercial in one of his articles and said, look, in Georgia where he lives, the price of petrol right now is selling below the price being sold in Nigeria. And he went on to say the reason is because America subsidizes heavily to achieve that price at the pump. In fact, if you look at all of the presidential aspirants in America, particularly the two leading ones, their commitment is towards lowering energy prices. For Trump is believed to be coming to power to actually crash the price of energy because of America's industries. Meaning, it's either he's going to overproduce from his country, he's going to abandon all environmental protocols to drill oil. If he went for one of his campaign, he said it and said, drill oil, baby, drill. He's going to go all the way just to lower oil prices by every means possible. Meaning that this is an economy that recognizes the importance of cheap energy for economic productivity.
Yeah, but we're not in the same space with the United States of America, given the fact that we are heavily dependent on loan and our debt level. We know that World Bank and the IMF will always give you the economic conditions before you give loan. The World Bank has just recently approved the release of about $1.something billion towards project and investment that the government is really up and about, because we're enforcing some of the recommendations, economic policy recommendations coming from them. Tighten your spending, remove subsidy, tax reforms, and we have seen this government doggedly following in that path, such that even if they want to take a step back, I don't think we can afford to at this point in time, given that the fact that some of these loans are conditional.
We can if we stop corruption in this country. In all my analysis, I've always made the background about the need to commit class suicide by our political leadership.
Well, it doesn't look like we're on that trajectory.
And they have a responsibility to do so because, as we speak, The continuous corruption in the politics across the board is at variance with the constitutional provision of what the government should be. So what we're asking for is constitutional fidelity. The reason why America is able to subsidize food, energy, housing. You see, let me tell you one thing about American housing system. The biggest mortgage lenders in America. Americans buy houses through mortgage. The biggest mortgage lenders, are actually government-owned financial institutions that lend at very ridiculously low rates. That's their own way of providing cheap housing for the people. Because the private entities will not be able to afford such level of low rate and make profits. The largest operator of railway system in America, Amtrak, it belongs to the federal government of America to provide cheap rail services for the people. Look, these people are strategic. And let me tell you one other thing you must understand. Among all civilized jurisdictions, I think Nigeria is about the only country where food prices are also dictated by market forces. You see, in the US, in the UK, European Union, of course, and most other parts of the developed or developing world, food is not priced according to market forces. It's not possible. No government allows that to happen. Food is heavily subsidized. So if you look at the UK, for instance, they can complain of very other thing. No UK person complains of hunger. It's not possible. It's not something that can happen. Nobody in the UK can complain of hunger. It can't happen. Because food is cheap in the UK. Everything can be expensive, but it's food. You think if food is dictated by market forces to be cheap in the UK, it can't be cheap now. Government intervenes. In Nigeria, we buy food at market rate. The farmer goes to the market, to this farm, he plants. He uses his input, both local and foreign. He uses energy to power his tractors, transport his goods, his food produce to the market and all that, and it dumps the profit on you and I to consume. No checks, no intermediates, intervention by government, nothing. Is raw. They bring it straight to you from as they plant, they harvest and bring it to you straight, and you pay at market rates. They make their profits, you buy your food. Now, at the same time, you're also paying for energy at market rates. How are you going to survive before IMF policies will begin to work? So the question I'm saying is, this is existential. High cost of energy in Nigeria is suffocating. Look, it's killing businesses. It has killed businesses. Well, I asked the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. It is something that no country should try. Let me tell you this. If a country has a choice between constructing road and subsidizing energy, it should subsidize energy. Yes. Again, I'll tell you, I keep making reference to America because America is headquarters of capitalism in the world. America prioritizes energy subsidy over infrastructural development. You know why? Because energy is the oxygen of the economy. It's fundamental. Without energy, I can't come here today. You can't leave your house. We can't be running this program live. There's nothing we can do. But I can drive on an untarred road to this place. Yes. After most of us travel across the country by road. Yeah. And majority of the road network in Nigeria is not actually motorable, but we still travel. Right? But you can't travel without petrol your vehicle. No matter how tired the road is, no matter how clean the road is.
All right, so Dr.
Your car will not even move from your house to the gate. That's the importance of energy. So look, fundamentally, the government has missed something. That is the fundamentals of an economy that can enable productivity. Government has missed it when it removed that affordability component in our energy security metrics. That is the conversation. It's not about whether you have made.
So you're still saying in 2025.
If you don't reverse this policy, this condition will be sustained. Inflation will continue to rise, and it will be worse. In fact, if this government was not even reversing their flotation policy tactically, sometimes if you observe, whenever Naira is about to cross the 1,700 Naira mark, government intervene by selling. Why did they just allow it to free float? Why are they intervening? If free floating on the Naira was a wise decision, why are they managing to hold it from going to 2,000 Naira by intervention? Why are they doing that? So if it was such a good thing, they should have allowed it to free float, and by now would have been 100,000 Naira to the dollar. And I wonder how we're going to survive with 7,000 Naira minimum wage as a country.
Right, let's look at some feedback from our listener. Aziz Isa, who's watching from Port Harcourt, is excited to see you, Dr. Majeed. Joseph Chinago says, Happy New Year, Dr. Majeed. Happy New Year, Kimberly. And to all Nigerian full family, everyone will forget that Tinubu met fuel at 194 naira per litre. I don't think people have forgotten, Joseph. James Bamgose, Elder Bamgose, we see you. Ambassador Ade says, Dr. Abdul-Majid and the chief host, the Oracle, Madam Speaker, good afternoon. Please, what does Dr. Majid have for me apart from analysis? Question is, what can you do for Dr. Majid? What do you have for him? Deji Akin, always on point, Dr. Majid. Nat J says, Nigerian folk, Kim, you asked a question the other day, which ministry isn't doing enough? I would say the Ministry of Agriculture, and you choose to answer it today. All right, thank you very much. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube is at Nigeria Info Abuja. Same on Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja. Jesse Aldu sends his regards to Dr. Majeed. Happy New Year, Bernard Alipan, Samson Enesi. We see you, and Lawrence Fashrunlade. I hope I didn't murder your name. Thank you very much for joining the midweek special with Dr. Majeed as we look at some of the big stories in the country. And we started off looking at the president's message and the talks and the assurances of reforming the economy, which our guest Dr. Majeed is saying, see, anything plan or works that does not include reversing the subsidy that was removed might not amount to much. And the president did also talk about the hopes for a stronger Naira in the new year. How we intend to achieve that, he didn't quite spell out. However, he seemed very optimistic.
The president was going to cut inflation to 15%.
Yes, he did say that.
What is driving inflation in Nigeria?
Inflation is currently 34.6%.
What is driving inflation? What is responsible for inflation in Nigeria? Cost of energy, cost of doing business. What you're experiencing in Nigeria is a cost-push inflation. Simple. This bottle of water I'm drinking here now, if it costs the producers of this water, or the manufacturers of this water, 100 naira to produce one bottle, before May 29, 2023, it now costs them 300 naira to produce. Same. It's not their fault. They must make a profit or they go out of business. So as an end user, I must now buy this anywhere from between say 320 to 350. That is what is causing this inflation. And what has been responsible for that? Foreign exchange depreciation and cost of energy. The cost of diesel that is running their factory, the cost of petrol that is running their logistics. Simple. Ask any farmer. To the point that the governor of Borno, sometime last year, decided to introduce subsidy in Borno for farmers by buying petrol and selling to them at a lower price to bring down the cost of food in Borno. He experimented with that.
Yeah, I recall.
Yes.
Last year.
So everybody knows that it's a global phenomenon that energy drives inflation. Cost of energy drives inflation. So how are you going to now bring down inflation if you are not willing to bring down the price of energy?